Hello, this is Andrea back again with another awesome chat. This week we have Matt Moore. We speak a lot about the transitions that we go through when, we walk this walk with God. It was an awesome chat and I hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, here is Matt.
Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
Good.
Good.
There was a sequence of events that played out that actually made our chat today kind of divine.
Okay.
Divine timing
Oh, that's cool.
blessed me.
That's so
But I
awesome.
always like to start out with, what's your story? Like, what brought you to what you're doing today?
Sure. What brought me to where I'm at today? I grew up in a house that that there's always music in the house. I didn't play music early on. I just wanted to play sports and wanted to see if I could, maybe make it as a professional baseball player, basketball player. And turns out I wasn't that coordinated or athletic, so that wasn't going to work. But grew up in the church, got saved when I was 9 years old. And it wasn't until later in high school that I started picking up the guitar and playing, and tried to start a bunch of different bands, local bands. Had a real hard time keeping anything together for any length of time. It was just difficult to keep a bunch of dudes on the same page. And I never wanted to be a singer. Like, I just wanted to be a guitar player, even the last band I was in, we kept auditioning for singers. Like, I just wanted to find somebody who could do that so I could play guitar. And it wasn't until my last band broke up that I really feel like I heard God's voice. And there's only been a few times in my life I felt like I for sure heard it, but thought for sure I heard this idea of, like, you keep saying you want to serve me with music. Like, why are you waiting for somebody to come do it for you? And I was like, okay. So struck out as a solo artist, grabbed an acoustic guitar and booked some coffee shops. And can't imagine not having taken that step. And God's just been crazy faithful, like giving me more opportunities to travel and to share my music, and to collaborate with some really great people. And just really blessed to be right where I'm at and doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, I feel like I hear a lot of that story. Like, I never really wanted to sing, or I never really wanted to be in a band, but then it was like God all of a sudden just like spoke that into me. But how terrifying is that? Like, that moment when you're like,
Right.
Oh, like, I gotta step out into that role.
I remember, like, the very first show I ever booked was just like a local variety show here in Central Michigan, and I knew the guy who was putting it on. I'd played it before with some other bands, and I remember typing an email to him being like, "Hey, I think I'm going to step out and do my own thing. I'd love to come play your show." And I probably typed that email and then paced around my living room for 30 minutes before I actually hit send, because I'm like, all right, if you really have to do this, if you hit send, like, you got to show up. So no, it was a terrifying thing to step into, and all kinds of insecurities bubbled up. But looking back on it now, it's one of those, like, I can't imagine not having taken that step. I wish I'd have taken that step sooner to do that. But God's timing's pretty perfect on that, and he was, I think God's got a whole long history of patting me on the head sometimes when I tell him I'm not going to do things, and going like, okay, that's cute. Yeah, like, well, you'll see.
I feel that so deeply. It's like I'll run from it and run from it and run from it. But, at some point, like, it's like the back of my shirt's pulled back. Like, no, you can't run from it anymore.
God has a way of getting a hold of you when he wants you. Like, he makes it work.
Yeah, it's like, Jonah getting swallowed up by the fish. Like, you can only run for so long before you get eaten alive by it. You have to put yourself.
He'll get your attention one way or the other.
Amen. I was listening to The Promise today. I want to bring up a couple lyrics in it. And but The Promise to me feels like the transition point where it's almost like you're broken down in order to step out into this new position that God's putting you into. And is that where that song comes from? Was it like a transitioning point for you where, like, you were transitioning into, like, the person that God wanted you to be, as opposed to what the world actually, told Matt Moore that he was?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose to a point, like, I mean, that definitely, is something I think that's always, it's kind of always an underlying thing. I originally wrote the promise during 2020, during the whole quarantine epidemic, where we were all stuck at home. And I've got a wife and three kids and a super close family friend that was staying here with us. So we're all under the same roof. And it was just a kind of a dark, scary time where we kept like looking at it going like, I don't know what happens next. I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know what it's going to look like on the other side, or when the other side's coming. But kind of the promise was like, whatever happens, we're going to figure it out together. Like we're going to walk it out together. Like, you guys are my people. Like we're going to continue to walk through the mess and walk through the scary stuff together. And as I was writing that for them, I remember again just feeling like God was saying like, boy, if you feel that for them, like how much more do I feel that for them? And how much more do I feel that for you?
I
Like
love that.
that promise that I'm going to walk with you. And no matter what happens next, no matter how scary it is, no matter how broken down and lost you feel, I'm not giving up on you. I'm not walking away from you. I'm going to continue to find you and meet you right in your mess, right in your brokenness. And I'm going to restore you and I'm going to bring you back and we're going to figure it out together. So that was kind of the original story. But I think even that transition narrative, like, yeah, that's, I mean, in the scariness of life and in the uncertainty and in the trying to take a step out into not knowing what happens next or not knowing where your feet are going to land when you take that step. It's just that promise that like, I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to carry you through this stuff. Like we're going to get to the other side together and you're not ever going to have to do it alone. So I think that's definitely in there also.
Yeah, I 2021, like earlier in 2021, I felt so spiritually strong.
Mhm.
And then something happened and it was like all of 2022, it was like things were getting tumbled over around me, like job, like finances, like vehicle, like all this stuff. And I just sat at the kitchen table last night and I really got to thinking about like, I don't know who I am without trauma. Like,
Mm,
I don't know who I am without trauma. And so, and it was like that breaking point, like, oh, like I really don't actually know my identity in
mm,
God. And
mm,
so then it was like all of this morning, between ministries and a prophetic song was sent to me. And then, that song was the first song I played, The Promise. And,
mm,
it really does, I think, reach out to those people that's been through a lot of trauma, that's, had things spoken against them that wasn't, and had a lot of promises broken and
sure.
a lot of things that went wrong in their life. It's like you put one step forward and it's like you're tripped out like every
Mhm,
time, and
mhm.
it's hard for you to trust in that, that promise, like I'm
Right,
here, I didn't go
right.
anywhere.
Well, it's the unknown, it's the uncertainty, and like I said, for that particular one, like it started as that quarantine thing. But yeah, I mean, in any kind of transition or in any kind of season of life where we feel broken or we feel lost and stuff like that, and we feel like the entire world's given up on us, and even those that are closest to us have given up on us, like just that reminder that God promises, like He's never going to leave us, He's never going to forsake us, He's never going to let us walk through the messy stuff alone. Like He loves us enough to wander into the mess, to find us right where we're at. And He loves us enough to not leave us there, to pull us out and to take us to a place of restoration and healing. And even though that process in and of itself can be scary because we just, we don't know what it looks like, we don't have
Yeah.
control over a lot of it, but
Mhm.
just that hope and encouragement that we don't ever have to do it alone, I think is just such an important thing to remember when things get dark.
Absolutely. I was asking God last night in prayer with my son. I was like, just give me a sign. For like weeks, I'm like, God, where are you? Like, you're not
Mhm.
talking to me. You're not speaking to me. Like, you're not showing me anything. Like, God, I'm to the point now, like, I just need a sign. And
Mm.
it was just asking for that, brought forth all these signs. And it wasn't so much like, this is the direction you need to go, but like I'm still in it. I didn't go anywhere. I'm still there.
Well, I think that's, God rarely ever gives us the big picture as far as like, hey, here's where I'm taking you, or here's exactly what it's going to look like. Like, I don't know that we ever have that promise that, you know, um,
But I want it.
Yeah, we all do, like that's, I'm also like, I work as a pastor, in my local church, and I'm a worship pastor. And one of the, I think main questions we get all over is like, what's God's will for my life? Like, what's God calling me to do? And like, I can give you the big picture, but I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I think what he's calling you to do is to chase after him, to seek after him, and to just trust that he does have a plan and a purpose for you, that he does have, he's going to continue to walk with you, and that you aren't going to be left alone and that kind of stuff. But yeah, sometimes you wish, like, just give me a map, God. Just show me, show me where we're going here. Give me 3 or 4 steps ahead, not just the next step,
Right. Yeah, I think that's that, Satan tries to whisper in your ear, this is who the world trained you up to be. Like, this is who you are. This is what's going to happen next. And, get it in your head. But yeah, it's like just believing in that promise, like keep doing kingdom work, keep reaching souls, like keep reaching hearts. And that's what keeps you, I think, alive rather than dying in it. Because I took the hits with so much grace, and I believe that it was from just keep putting one foot in front of the other, even though like I was tired.
Well, I think there's an importance in knowing that we don't control the outcome. We'd like to think that we do, or we'd like to think that if we just work hard enough, we can control the outcome. Or if we do enough here, it's like God controls the outcome. He's not asking us to take care of the end result. What he's asking us to do is continue to be faithful, to continue to put one step in front of the other, to keep chasing after him, to keep growing. There's not ever a point where we arrive and it's like, all right, I got it figured out. Like, I don't need to chase anymore. It's like, he calls us to keep stepping, keep walking. And he's like, I'll make your path straight. Like, I'll guide you where we're going to go. I'll take you where you need to be. Like, I'll take care of the end result. You just do what I created you to do, and we'll figure the rest out.
Yeah, I had read a post, and it was like, you're so busy wanting to hit the top of the mountain, but once you hit the top of the mountain, there's another mountain to climb. So stop focusing on the top. And I was like, oh, that hit me good. So
yeah. Well, I think part of it's enjoying that journey too, and understanding that, I think sometimes the purpose and point of chasing after God isn't necessarily to achieve all those dreams and goals. I think we find God in the chasing. Like we find God, and we find ourselves a lot more in that journey, and in that, constantly walking with him daily, like taking on more of those behaviors, becoming more like Christ every day. Hopefully, I mean, like some days it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back, but we keep getting back up, and we keep walking after. And he's faithful through that stuff. Like, he doesn't ever ditch us along the way. It's so cool.
Yeah, it was like whenever I first started out this journey where I like died to who I was to ask Christ to like train me up instead. Like, I didn't want to be me anymore. I would like beat myself up all the time. I'd be like, why did you judge that person? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And I'm like, why can't you just be holy? Like, why can't you just do it? And then I came across the scripture, and Apostle Paul said, through your weakness, you're being perfected. And I'm like, so I have to make these mistakes in order to see that they're gain the revelation that they're wrong in order to go the right way. And, and each time I fall, I'm going to get stronger in that.
Well, and it's an opportunity, like, I think God promises that he's going to show himself strong through our weakness, and it's those opportunities where we fall short, and those opportunities where we realize like that we don't have it together and we need help, that God comes in and intervenes, and, and we begin to take on more of those fruits of the Spirit. And later, as we continue to walk with him, like, our thought patterns and our behaviors become more like Christ, and we become more patient and peaceful. And it's such a process, but it's I think, you hit it too. Like, it's a process we wish we could like just, snap our fingers and have it together.
Right, yeah.
It just doesn't work like that,
Right. It's so true. Then you have broken pieces. And so like that's another song too that kind of hits you. But I feel like, that pruning process, or that dying to who you were, to actually, like, I don't feel like you can get the anointing on your life without that dying to who that you were, that the world told you that you were. Like, you have to like die to yourself in order to like welcome Christ into trade. Because if you think you already got it all figured out, like, how much room are you letting Christ to grow you in that? And so like, I feel like that's the anointing process, is like you have to hit those hard points or those storms.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Well, I mean, if we had it all figured out, we really wouldn't need Christ, would we? Like,
Right.
we could do it on our
Yeah.
own strength. No, and that's, a lot of what Broken Pieces is about is just coming to terms with our own brokenness and admitting that not only do we carry brokenness and do we need a savior and we need Christ, exactly like what you're saying, like we need that intervention, but that we're all kind of broken pieces of a bigger picture too. Like,
I love that.
as a body of believers, as a world, like we're kind of fractured parts of a bigger whole. So that song was really, kind of that, admission that like, hey, we're broken, hey, we need help, but it was also supposed to be this kind of statement of like, but we're standing up right now saying this isn't our end. The brokenness isn't the end of our story. We're not laying down at this point. Like, God's going to show himself strong through our weakness. God's going to piece us back together. And really all four or five of the songs on that Scars EP, like they really kind of tell that whole story of from brokenness to redemption, and the way that God pieces us back together and gives us hope in a future, so much more than we could do for ourselves.
Yeah, I love that. And then I was given a revelation a while ago that if you're really aware of like your surroundings and other human beings, and you really genuinely have compassion for them, you start realizing that when you're going through rough times, the body is too. When I'm going through something hard, not to focus so much on like, this is the hard time that I'm going through, but there's a whole body of people out there going through this too, and like helping them out and then gaining that love back in that. That's what gets
Absolutely.
me out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's that just important part of, the encouragement and support of when a whole bunch of, broken, messy people, get together to encourage each other and lift each other up. And I think there's such a perspective thing in that too, because, not that my things aren't legit, but when we open our eyes and like look around and go like, oh wow, we're surrounded by a world that's hurting, a world that's broken and struggling. And sometimes in comparison, not that we're trying to compare our hurt to theirs or our trauma to theirs, but when we realize like, oh man, we're not alone in this, and some of the stuff I'm hanging on to and some of the stuff that I'm making a really big deal in the big picture isn't as big of a deal, compared to what we're all going through. It definitely puts things in perspective, and I think just calls even more for that need that we need Jesus to intervene. Like, we need Jesus to show up and do a work, because we just can't, fix the brokenness on our own.
Yeah, no, you can't. And I speak about this often. I was an atheist for a long time, and it's, as an atheist, like you're holding the whole world on your shoulder. Like, you're just taking the hits as they come, and you're just believing in all these things that are true. And it's like, when you become a believer, when you believe in God wholeheartedly, it's like these things aren't really true. It's an illusion. It's like God's the truth, what God's working out that I can't see yet. That's the truth. But this stuff's just all a movement. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I feel that.
So you host the Kingdom Come Festival too, and that's actually, just to promote them a little bit. Kingdom Come Festival comes out June 15th through the 17th. What's that like?
Kingdom Come Festival, man, that is I've been blessed to play a lot of festivals around the country over the years, and there are none quite like Kingdom Come Festival. Like, it's probably the most family oriented, welcoming place that I've ever been a part of. From the people who actually put the festival on, the Always One ministry crew, to the bands that they bring in, to the fans that just come and attend. There's so much more than just fans. Like, they really become family. They've allowed me to play it for the past nearly 10 years now, maybe a little more than 10 years now. And then I've been hosting for the past 3 to 4 years now. They let me MC. I'm not sure why they allow me to keep doing that, but they keep giving me a microphone and giving me a chance with it. And yeah, it's just such a special thing. They've worked incredibly hard to keep it a free festival, and they bring in some of the biggest names like in Christian rock music and in Christian hip hop and things like that. So it's an amazing festival with great bands that are also great people. And it's just, like I said, it's one of those places, like, if you get a chance to experience it, you won't find anything else like it anywhere in the country that I'm aware of. It's really special.
People that come together for these concerts. it's almost like a reunion whenever they show up. It's like, oh, I missed you,
Yeah.
and they're like a community. It's
Yeah, no,
beautiful.
it really is. Like it's special. Like some of my closest friends, are a part of that community just because we've done ministry and done life together over the years. And it's so wild, like those friendships and those relationships that start at this, fairly little festival in rural Indiana have become like just this incredible support network, this incredible source of encouragement. They really have become like family, so much to
Yeah.
the point where I actually bring my family, I bring my kids down to this festival now every year, and they've got, they're part of the bigger family, and
Oh, I
uh,
love that.
it's really special.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So what's coming up next for you?
Coming up next, well, actually got some working on some new music right now. Actually heading back down to the studio down in Nashville within the next couple months here to begin tracking the next rock album. I've got a couple acoustic things that are coming out within the next few weeks and months, and then hitting the road pretty extensively in the summer. Getting out and spring and summer, playing pretty much anywhere and everywhere they'll let me. It looks like we've got some more festivals lined up. Got some more opportunities to go play some bigger concerts and festivals with some mainstream secular bands. So yeah, looking forward
That's
to
awesome.
just taking Jesus out everywhere we go, and getting a chance to build relationships with more people.
Yeah, I was telling Nathan, I said, wow, he's like got a lot of energy. Like you're a good performer. Like you have a lot
Thanks.
of energy.
I love what I get to do.
Yeah,
It's hard not to get
you
out
can
there and
tell.
smile and run around and have fun with it.
Yeah, you can tell that you love it. You have passion for
Well, thanks. Yeah, I do. So.
it. So where can we find you to book you?
Usually the easiest place is right through my website, mattmoremusic.com. I have most everything right there. We'll be putting some tour dates on there, but that's where you can listen to my music. You can contact me. You can find my merch and all those things. You can also find me on social media, pretty much anywhere, Instagram, Facebook. I have a TikTok account. I haven't used it really yet, but you can find me pretty much anywhere you're at online. I'm available.
Well, I'll be sharing those links out too, but I thank you for joining me, and prayers for your travels this year and your journey. And
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to just come and share and get to know you a little better. This is awesome.
yeah, I appreciate you. God bless. Have an awesome day.
Thanks so much, Andrea. You too.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
If you like this message, please hit subscribe because we have an awesome guest coming up every week and I don't want you to miss out. Our Daydream now has merch. If you want to check that out, link will be in the description. God bless. Have an awesome week and I'll see you next time. Bye.